Good morning, class. Welcome to Homeroom with Unc and Market Monk.
Morning, P. How was your week?
That was good. I had some stocks kind of respond to some levels. A couple of the option trades. It was really the way I um, the way I hedge it. Sort of out doing the like a short expiration put with some of what happened. Just overwhelms everything else you were trying to do. You come out green. The call bounces just a little bit just to let you out, and you just re-enter. And I think whatever your style is, the plan to re-enter and making that part of what you is extremely important, rather than if you have something didn't go as you thought it would, just kind of like hanging out there without any real plan, and then making your plan as you go, the kind of magical thinking that people do. You can't really do that, especially with the acceleration you get on some of the selling, even if it's short lived. You revisit levels you didn't think you were going to see so soon, and that's really what happened with LLY quite a few times. So late in the week, I settled into this trade where it's like, well, it flushes below 765. It's probably going to go revisit that, and that was what I pretty much did to close the week. So I'm kind of back to close to the vest and familiarity. Still holding free shares in quite a few things. Still a lot of the small caps park and wait. Some of the smalls aren't even really responding to what's going on with SPY the past few days. So um, we've been here, done that. So that's kind of my right now.
Yeah, definitely a little cautious with the rates. Um, I usually like to play the read the report style with those, and um, not a lot of entries after that for sure. Um, Beginning of the week wasn't horrible. We had a couple Fubo popped off. Generac was
Yep.
really good. What I had left in that. But
Oh yeah.
again, more selling last week or stuff that I made the managed the stop loss, move them up, and they finally got touched a little bit. So um, looking to deploy capital, we're getting to that point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
man, the April to August swing, I won't say it made my year, but man, it did a good base for me. So um, still kind of scaling out of that, not really looking to add anything until the levels hit, and this week we have a few. So I think there's still a little bit more pullback. With you that the smalls kind
Yeah.
of weren't affected in most cases. The smalls really are marching to their own drum still. But it's needed. I mean, you go like 30 days without a real red day. You can't panic when you finally get one. I guess kind of got two, but like you were saying with the price action, it really wasn't a lot
Well,
going
one of
on
them was
Thursday and Friday.
yeah, and Thursday was the kind of the green to red thing,
Yeah,
rather than the trend day down.
yeah,
And the trend day down has been the rarest thing for a long time. And so, looking at how the market reacts after you get a day like that is something to watch. The one you mentioned, Generac. I still had some wing left, and that move it made on earnings wasn't really on my radar for options for ER. I mean, they're so expensive into ER because it's really the only time that people pay attention
pay
to that
attention.
stock.
Yeah,
But I mean, it. I sold most of what I had left on a 26% move, and that just kind of shows you what share structure can do with the size of that float and all insiders and all that. So yeah, that was good too, and I expect as you get into these really this busy part of the earnings season. This is where the opportunities are going to be. To sell what you have, to see things flush to a level, all that kind of stuff, and even. on the option side, something like net, net popped up 7-8% to the upside, sold off down 3%, to open the day. That was a pretty easy trade to find some kind of equal limit. I mean, in fact, like it had like the 200 site going on and all that. But before all that, I had net ads from the 40s that I just got rid of before that ER report because I didn't see that really spiking and holding anything up here. And so yeah, I mean it was fun to jump into the options and all that. But it just kind of shows like if I were just starting over every day, yeah, here's a little opportunity for net, but this whole time, I mean that really was where it's at. I mean that's where the play money for the option trade even comes from. So I just think it's crucial, even if you're just starting out now and you're wanting to get to something where you can actually hold some things and keep some things. Um, Even though a lot of the stuff we have is way above our entries, we're still looking to what's next, and we're still looking for the frying pan bottoms, the next big sector story, um, you know, all that. So it's never really a bad time to me to still build and use the work beyond just what's going to happen in the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, pullbacks are an opportunity. I was
Yeah.
I was not really adamant about it in April, but I definitely mentioned it that like this is just when you buy, and um, one day is not going to be that. I mean, we had a couple weeks that were really
Yeah.
horrible, and some true pullbacks in the indices as well as individual names. But higher lows off of levels, consolidation on our levels, those kinds of things are what I start to look for. And I won't say it's easier, um, but when you deal with less, like when you some things are just off limits because of where they are price wise, it is a little easier, at least for me, because it's if a check isn't there, you just move on. And um,
Yeah.
there's plenty of stuff, especially this week. I mean, my secondary list is probably 15. Just because names that have, it's a three candle thing for me. So, if it touches the level, that's one thing. We got to monitor it for a little bit, or see a really good bounce, see a higher low off of it. And really, we haven't had that for, let's say, like a month, especially through my vacation. We just didn't really have that. We were like literally looking for what was next or what's going to continue to grind, that pop and fade. And um, I would rather play the pullbacks. Just because you get the retrace one trade, and then you hang on if there's a little more. So
Yeah.
sector driven for me at this point. I could be a little ahead on it, but same thing with the rates. Because if you go through just the rate story, we got the cut right before the end of Biden's term. Like they were going to keep cutting, or they were on the plan to ease a little bit. We just haven't cut since. So anybody that has debt,
Right.
Red Robin's a great example. I'm really interested in Red Robin. As soon as it hits your side, as soon as it's low fours or hits your side, I'm in. That's how I feel about Red Robin, because
Yeah.
they just have so much debt that this three
Right.
months or 2 months of that they have to refinance, that they're not going to get to the end of the path, is bothering them. And you just got to kind of stay on those stories in the market. And thankfully, we're really good at that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I mean, there's some sectors where I'm actually really interested to do a reread on real estate because I mean, as far as rates go, this kick the can thing that they've been doing, has it just kind of keeps happening. And what I mean, really, a lot they're ahead of schedule on a lot of that stuff because it benefited just from the broader market recovery, rather than kind of the things that got them into the trade, which is rates are going to ease and the sector is going to improve and all that. So kind of a little bit of a flow reset there would be good. Just see some pullback, and in fact, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if anyone goes back and listens to that real estate segment that we did. some of the downside levels and pullback spots that you talked about, um, that we'll see those sooner than than we thought, and that's good. I mean, I'm not in the thing now, so I want it to be cheaper and
Yeah.
would rather just get it over with and go test that level and off we go. So, so yeah, I think about the opportunity of something like that.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of stress those things. I mean, you say things I haven't said in a while, but you're definitely the fan of it. If you're not in it going down, and also something that really should stick in everyone's head right now is you're not going to be able to trade what you want to trade. It's just we're not in that
Yeah.
market. We missed that. We missed that opportunity. It's going to be stuff that it just it's in a good spot. The flow's really clear. Wells ain't going away, and those are going to be the better trades. We just seen it with the SOC, stuff like that. It's just a way better trade through this kind of market, and um, it's not all on. We're not. I mean, let's just chronologically go through where we've been in the last year, but we're about a month away from when I said just give yourself time and hold on, just hold on, and then we had the the Mag Seven's probably going to be a little weak start the year. And then that April pullback, we kind of, I don't see it called the bottom, but we knew there wasn't much substance to it. And I didn't expect to come back this quick, but, it's like riding a bull, no pun intended. You got to pivot a little bit to stay on the damn thing. And currently, I don't see, I mean, we'll throw another unk line out there. The trend doesn't change till you see it on the weekly. And we're not there
Yeah.
yet. And I don't, unless we have some set up in your end, I just don't really see it long term. And I still also see it as
No, yeah, and I mean, I
as
didn't.
needed.
And yeah, we'll get to Spy. But I mean, the whole thing about Spy last week was that they haven't done some kind of dramatic repositioning, and basically the trade they had set up worked, and some of the hedges that they had, they just they let them die, or they're at this point um, selling them off to gamblers, basically, who get a cheap put a month out on 100 move down or something dramatic that they think might happen. But yeah, so we'll definitely get to that one. Wanted to touch on a couple of the boring things here. You've got gold hitting this 30, closing at that 3,400 spot, so it had a pretty good day. Still just kind of bouncing around this little channel it's got going, trending up still. Could definitely break out 37, 3,800, something like that. That's sort of what I anticipate for gold to continue there. Silver at 36, and once again, this has been the thing that silver gives you better pullbacks, and consequently, some of the silver miners are where you want to look. That your best range is going to be there. Gold, I kind of have what I have, and just I'm going to hold for the next move. But silver, I think you can in fact re-enter, and you can just see you get the better daily candles, to the downside, and retrace that. So 36 is important, and then 34, 32. They kind of keep things sort of at these round numbers with silver. That's how it works. Heavily manipulated, all that stuff. But yeah, I like silver a lot. I don't know how you feel of silver compared to gold, but
No, yeah, it's always been the better one for me. Just reasonable expectations at this point on both of those
yeah,
sectors related tickers. And then reading the news, but you got me looking at all the minor news, looking for bad minor news. Close that thing down for a week for water
yep.
quality or something.
Get some,
Um,
get some
so yeah. So I'm with you on that. I am with you. And 36, I think you pointed out when we were in the 20s as being
yeah,
a level. So watching that flip, um, it's probably worse in commodities than it is in stocks, but it doesn't just go from people buying to people selling. There's kind of a, you know, there's kind of an equilibrium or a middle, and that's where you get consolidation. And
Yeah.
seeing that on 36 is really healthy for me, especially since you've had that for like a year. So
Yeah, absolutely. And then copper, copper had the dramatic sell off, and I mean it's funny. I had somebody ask me about copper. I think that that before it happened, and I was like, well, I just I'm not going to enter up here. Um, but I think that we're still well above our levels, and even with the sell off coming down to this this 450 spot, four has still been the big area I look to. Say a mid candle move, to five, um, definitely plausible. There's some signs in flow on some individual names. One in particular that is a little easier to read than the big volume one. It makes me think that's going to happen. So that's what I'm after here. Is that was it happens. You already had the almost 2% bounce after a 20% drop. So yeah, this is copper can do this. It can get a little wild, but I'm looking mid candle on this one.
yeah, I mean, you just look at the last time it did it. It's high or low here, so play the range.
Yep. Yep. And I wanted to get into China for a second. China had a pretty nice recovery with that, with everything else. But seeing some um, just particular Chinese stocks that I like. So it's kind of a one at a time versus the whole. Like it's not full send China or anything like that, but I'm seeing a lot of those get really active, and the health of this chart creates the conditions where that can happen. So um, smalls in particular are what I like. I think um, Baba. I think you missed it if you wanted Baba. I wouldn't really mess with Baba right now, but um, a lot of smalls I like in the Chinese stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the catch 22 for me. I mean, if you can get that sizing right and be patient, you'll do well in China. Um, but if you can't get your sizing right and be patient and quality setups, China might not be for you. But they're really shitty stocks. They got really good
Yeah.
range, and they usually make the move through time. So it's park and wait, but it's not like the easiest. It's not for the starting park and wait people. If you're good at parking and waiting, there's some great China names.
No, yeah, and it's and that's a different kind of look than I mean the China Friday from back in the past, where I mean for months, just almost every Friday, they're your Chinese education or whatever crap was that you could find one
Yeah.
that you could tell in free market I can trade this today.
Yep.
So it hasn't been that, but a lot of them do have a 20 to 40% move share side kind of baked into the flow, and I think that those will pan out. So yeah, with you there. Just follow the notes. And oil. I mean, just sort of not much going on. Quiet charter, which I think bodes well for a number of the stocks. Now, if we do get a some prolonged pullbacks and selling in SPY, um, you'll get your kind of standard sector rotation, which will probably boost oil too. So I'd look for that. There, I think the setup in oil stocks that I keep harping on, they're all still intact, and you should be up on quite a few of those. Uh, EXEs, one example, but yeah, so I'm still very very interested in those, and there's a reason I trade those. The reason I'm not just all Tesla every day. I think that in terms of safety, something you could park your money, something where you want some exposure, I'm still into the oil stocks.
Yeah, stability is good. I like
Yep.
this chart. So they just need the not the economy to be good, but just the perception that we're advancing. Like GDP helps them more than anybody else. I think. Like, you get good reads on GDP. Oil
Yeah,
companies do well.
absolutely. Right, and Trump's big focus on the numbers and revisions and firing people who don't say the right thing. I mean, I don't know. Long term health of the country, I don't really know, but I do think that you'll see some favorable numbers, cooked or not. I think coming up soon, so that that should help some of these.
Definitely.
And then we get into natural gas. I sound like a crypto bro or something, but this is the one where like the price is fake. It has been the thesis for a long time. There's a lot geopolitically that goes on here, and it's still that 5 to 7 area is where I expect this um, to move up to. Um, that this has not broken back down to $2 is good. So I still think there's a lot of opportunities in natural gas, and combo names are going to be your safest. The oil slash natural gas. If you're in, you don't see me talk about the leveraged ETFs and see from this chart why that is. You're just kind of parked in this little 3 to 4 range. You catch a move from 3 to 4, yeah, it works out for you. But if you're stagnant for 3 weeks, you get that share decay and don't really want to mess with that.
Yeah, I think it's a long term winner, both for
Yeah.
the country and the stocks. They're still in the transition to selling this in nuclear as clean, which
Yep.
I think they'll do as needed and makes sense. So um, just got to change the market and get it to where we're an outflow and not an inflow or a sideline partner. And it sounds like Trump's doing that. So building
Yep.
pipelines and stuff, that's not a 6 month thesis. That's a if you get that
Right.
done by
Right.
your administration end, you're doing really good. So be mindful of
Yeah.
that. And 5 to 7, the good spot. PM totally on board with that.
And lithium in the ditch as always, but I I like lithium. I think you got to give yourself some time. But there are some, especially battery stocks, where the flow sets up really well, and it's not one of those sectors where it's just as simple as what's the price of lithium. Okay, this is going to move a battery stock. They don't really work like that. That they're sort of news driven, flow driven, that kind of thing. So, but the point at which lithium does turn around and break the downtrend, you're going to see a pretty dramatic move in some of those stocks. So that's still a long term deal for me. But I do think some are in some spots for freedom too.
Now a little ahead of you there on that one. Um, I just like the way that chart looks. Um, range
Yeah.
is great with you on the thesis. I like the long term one as well. Range is great there. Good entry. So yeah, Night is Young there. Those are easy charts, and I like them because they're my kind of clean, where you don't have a couple furus on them, and
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
just not heavily shorted or anything like that. It's just a clean, boring chart.
And Bitcoin, you would think for the way posts that we are just in a crypto catastrophe. Um, I don't think. I mean, some of these guys, they must be really new to crypto because
Yeah,
um, they never seen selling if they think this is anything. But yeah, I mean, we haven't even gone and tested 100 again. So until that happens, I don't think it's at any kind of big downtrend decision point or something like that. If it wants to keep 120 within earshot, I would you'll see a spike to 126 to 130, something like that. That's still kind of what I'm seeing, and kind of what I'm after here. I The only crypto stocks I've really been trading are MSTR and Coin. I think the some of the miners, you missed a really good entry there back when we were talking about it, when it was in the 80K area. But yeah, I would say too. I mean, I would trade Mara if I was doing shares. Like I probably would look more, but options and pivots and all that just work well with the two that I'm on. But yeah, I think it's fine up here. It's going to be interesting to see if it can hold around this 115, 110 area, and then we go from there.
Yeah, I'm with you. We kind of nailed the trade on it. I don't really mess with those unless they're on a level, on usually the lower level, and then
Yeah.
the flow also backs it up. And we just had that, and it's fine if I only got to trade it every 6 months or every 8 months. I'm totally fine with that, and um, it's just easier for me. I'm with you if you're gonna buy stuff by coin. MSTR, I get. Um,
Yeah.
120p. That's all I got.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we can see like I put it in my note on Friday. I'm like coin selling off pretty heavy, but not gonna hit any of my spots. And so and it might. I mean, it definitely 320 down to 250.
Could happen.
It could happen for sure.
Yeah.
And then I kind of doubt 220, but it could wick below 250 for a minute. But I mean that would be the spot to really take a look at it again. But yeah, I
Uh,
went ahead and I sold all I had left.
good, good.
360 was the line in the sand for the rest of my shares. So did very well on that. Uh, so
I think I just to get a little ahead of where this conversation is probably going, since it's a cycle. You see it coming, are you coming back around? It's like a bad marriage almost. Um,
yeah, yeah.
um, but I think by the end of the month, I'm going to tell you to stop talking about Bitcoin. Yeah, like I
Sure.
didn't like it was in January. I think I was there in January. Where you're like, will you just shut up about Bitcoin B? And it's just because our styles are a little different. Um, you can trade those
Yeah, yeah.
flushes with options really well, and I'm just in no man's land with shares. So,
Right, right.
but I just kind of see that's where I see Bitcoin getting quiet, and that's just my way of saying it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's like I talked about when I opened the kind of the hedged upside trade, and you end up massively green, even though you had like one put and three calls, because the calls are for 3 weeks from now, and the put was for this, and the put goes 200 to $1,400 in 30 minutes. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'll just do that. And then you just get out of it. So there's going to be a lot of that kind of thing. And so if you're not sort of prepared to trade it in that way, um, you just, I wouldn't be a dip buyer on shares. Like
Yeah,
there is no reason to buy coin shares for $314 with the expectation that it's going to see 250. Just wait for 250. And if it does, if it goes mid candle here, establishes some new level, and it's going to take a long time to do that. This is not just going to zoom to $500. So yeah, I know I'm with you. I know you're going to tell me to shut up about Bitcoin, but we're still going to go ahead and do this. We're going to go
yeah.
ahead and,
Well, yeah, I get it.
and do this whole thing. Yeah, yeah.
No, I get that part of it, and I want to reiterate the because it's just pertinent now, but Bitcoin it's like the RPMs, like it has to be revving for the charts to go on the share side,
Yeah.
and that's really what it is to me. If Bitcoin it needed to get to 20, and then it needed to get to 30, then it needed to get 35, then it needed to get to 40, and it needs to have that constant input, or they usually just bleed out on the share side. And as being a share trader, that's really not appealing for me. And that's really all it is. As an option trader, it's a gold mine.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and I can let's see real quick. Oh yeah, so I'll talk about the dollar and the 10-year just for a second here. But yeah, so the dollar's showing a little life, getting a little bounce. That was needed on this chart. Anything below 98 is probably gonna put up a fight for a while. So yeah, rejected at 100. We'll kind of see. I expect that. I don't expect this to be go to the moon or something, but you want to keep an eye on it. And you can see here, these candles that we had. It gives you a little bit of warning that you want to be careful with some of your upside trades in your big stuff, or the Mag 7 is going to have trouble gains, or whatever. I mean, I don't know what people expect. When Microsoft moves 8% the upside, you really think it's going to hold that and go higher right away? How massive that stock is? It's just not. That's just not how it works. So, if you have Microsoft, you did very well, and you're still doing well, and you can keep it forever. But it's going to cool off, and so that's kind of what happened. And the rates are sort of you could see it as they're driving it, or they're the excuse for it, or whatever. But they're this chart is one pretty good indicator of when you want to be careful. So we're kind of at that moment.
Yeah, I don't got much to add there. I'm agree with all that though.
Yep. And then the 10-year, this is actually a pretty good example of how I say you want this to bleed out slowly and not dramatically. So you could say, well, the 10-year going down should be good for stocks, but that's just kind of, it's not really that simple. Like, so we had, this sell off heavy at the same time that QQQ and SPY are selling off. So it's just everybody rushing for the exit at the same time, and it gets a little chaotic. So what you want from this one, you don't want to say like, oh hell yeah, let's just let's send it under 4% by Wednesday. That's not necessarily going to be a bounce in the market. So you want this to quiet down a bit, and then back to normal, and you're fine. But as far as where it is, I mean the range is fine. I mean, you want it in this area. If you don't want to go think about 5% or something like that. But yeah, if it calms down or slow bleed out, that's kind of what you want.
Yeah, I like that it's still trending down. So until we get to about 115, that's really all I'm looking for. Cover it well here.
Yep. All right, so get to SPY for a minute.
Let's do it.
And I always I never before the session, I actually don't look at this, so I don't do any prep. I just want to look at it fresh and sort of see what I think. And that's kind of worked out well for us in the past. But okay, so couple things that do stand out to me here of the open interest positions that and what they kind of seem to be doing. So you've got the 575p heavily sold on Friday, and I think part of that they're maybe kind of getting out. It looks like it's a little bit of a roll happening, perhaps for 585 March is kind of the more relevant contract to me. So I think that you're going to get a lot of concentration with SPY around March. The September stuff is all the way down at 525. not no real relevance there. So so to me, it's that 580 area, with an outlook for January to March is how they're where they're gonna operate. And I don't have any big upside targets right now through SPY. If we get that, they're going to do it through futures, I think, and individual names too.
Lock it up. Yeah, I'm with you. I thought it was kind of weird that we didn't have that upside flow, and um, we still don't. And the move kind of helps me a little bit with. All right, we are going to get the pullback because I was kind of waiting for pullback.
Yeah,
It just had nothing to support it. 609 is the 50 on the day, and then like 583 is the 50 on the weekly. I think that 585 is what you have. Just basic
yeah,
pullback to the 50 on SPY, and um, needed. Needed. We were just at the 200 in April. I mean, it made a big old run. Very, very healthy. And then you put that on like the I don't know, I guess the general market consensus of where the top would be at the end of the year if we had a good year, and 660 was it. So I mean, we're only $40 from the top. We got what, 5 months? Um, yeah, we have time. We have time to have pullback. Pullbacks needed. Um, you see what's real in pullback. So I don't know if we're gonna get it in 2 or 3 candles though, P. That's the thing. I think we bounce
yeah,
around for
yeah.
the month up here.
Right.
Um, maybe six, flirting with the six around the next rate decision. That's kind of what I see, but um,
Very rough conditions to start over every day, and
impossible.
as always. But in particular, right now, because I think a lot of the best moves on SPY are going to be overnight, and you don't really know. I wouldn't say it's 50-50 which direction, but at best it's 60-40 or something. But I mean, it's hard to trade like that. So your options are you either like you hold overnight, and let's say you're an account under $3,000, and so you hold some overnight, and let's say you're one of the responsible ones, and you only put $500-600 into overnight zero DTE options. Then it's really hard to get that right, and you need a pretty big move to make up for any hedging, and then you have to make the decision: do I get out right at open? Do I look for more? And you get these little shakeouts and stuff. And so let's say you don't want to do that. So I'm just gonna start fresh in the morning. Well, now it fell 0.8%, and the whole range for the whole day is 0.2%, and
Yeah.
it's just gonna kind of park there. So it's bad news. Like, you don't want to trade like that, and it's the most popular way to trade though. So uh, you're not like them. That's what that's what I would say. And you don't want to be like them.
Yeah, no, just looking at RTO over the last week or so, it gives me, previous high and lows, and you can see how tight they are up here. I mean, this is tight ass ranges. It doesn't really open it up till the downside. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, better fish. But I mean, I'm always better fish than trading SPY. Um,
Yeah, sure.
um, it's the. No, I'm not gonna say that. Yeah, there's better fish.
All right, good stuff. All right, so yeah, that's all I had for this session. Wanted to leave us lots of time for
Yeah, no,
the good stuff.
yeah, you mean your earnings list.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm good with that. Awesome. Well, like and subscribe. Link somewhere, people.
Yep, absolutely.